In the village of Okutani, when the skies turn red and the winds hum with chants from the unseen, the elders say the earth remembers. And on a night when no drums were beaten and no births were expected, a child came screaming into the world. Her mother died before she could see her. Her father ran when he did. She was born beneath a blood moon, her neck so long it coiled like a serpent, and her eyes, oh, her eyes, white. No pupils, no color, only white. The midwife screamed and dropped her in the red soil. But one woman did not scream. Her name was Mama Nena, the old grandmother of the clan. A woman with white chalk in her hair and bones buried under her hut. She scooped up the child, wrapped her in palm leaves, and whispered a prayer. Nwa Miri, Nwa Anyamu. Whether you bring curse or crown, the spirits know you by name. She named her Ifeoma. From the very beginning, Ifeoma was feared. No one would nurse her. No one would touch her. Children were told never to look her in the eyes, and they didn't need the warning. When she cried, the chickens stopped laying eggs. When she laughed, lightning would dance in the distance. But Mama Nena never flinched. She raised Ifeoma with the stories of the spirit mothers and sang to her at night. Long neck for watching the stars. White eyes for seeing the truth. You are not ugly, my child. You are chosen. Flash forward, age 8. By the time Ifeoma turned 8, she had grown into a quiet, observant girl. Her long neck arched elegantly like a crane. Her eyes, though still pale and eerie, no longer made her cry. But the village had not forgotten. Children threw pebbles. Women crossed the road when they saw her. The chief's son, Kachi, once threw a burning torch at her feet and shouted, "Go back to the forest spirit that birthed you." But she did not run. She stared at him, eyes unblinking, and Kachi collapsed, bleeding from the nose. That night, his mother called for the dibia, the priest seer. He arrived in the dark, robed in feathers and cowries, chanting in a forgotten tongue. He placed white chalk around Ifeoma's hut. This child is not natural. She was sent from the between. One day, she will either bless this village or destroy it. Ifeoma turned 16 beneath the moon that once cursed her birth. The village of Okutani remained the same, suspicious, judgmental, and bound in fear. But Ifeoma was not the girl they remembered. She was tall, graceful, and silent like mist on the hills. Her long neck now held confidence, not shame. Her pale eyes no longer hid behind her braids. But something had begun to stir. Something ancient. She began to see things. Visions in her sleep, of masked ancestors dancing through fire, of women with rivers in their bellies, of trees that whispered her name. She heard chants in forgotten tongues. She saw the shadows of things yet to come. One night, she sat by the river, the same one where the village fetched water, but she did not fetch. She watched. The stars above began to blink like eyes. The water rippled without wind, and in the surface of the river, she saw them. Warriors with spears made of bone, mothers with eyes like hers, and behind them a woman. Her skin was silver. Her lips did not move, but Ifeoma heard her speak. Daughter of the coiled neck, child of second sight, the world will tremble through your love and your pain. But never forget, your heart is your shrine. Ifeoma gasped and fainted. When she woke, she was in Mama Nena's hut, and the dibia stood above her. He had seen her vision too. He marked her forehead with chalk. He drew sigils on the ground. The spirits have opened your sight. But be warned, you must never fall in love. If you do, the world you see will become the world you lose.
Mama nenawit.
But Ifeoma, still weak, only nodded. In her heart, a storm was already forming. In the land of Okutani, time has a way of folding in on itself. What was once feared becomes desired. What was hidden becomes unveiled. Ifeoma, now 17, walked like rain, soft, graceful, yet carrying weight unseen. Her eyes, still white as the spirits she spoke to, now held stories, and her neck, elegant and curved, stood taller than ever before. The villagers still whispered, still avoided, but some began to wonder if she was a goddess in disguise. And then he arrived, Obinna, a boy from the neighboring village of Amato. He came with his father, a palm wine tapper, seeking trade. He was tall, curious, with a smile that broke through silence. And when he saw Ifeoma, he did not look away. He bowed. He said, I have never seen such beauty in all of Ani's lands. Ifeoma was stunned. No one had ever called her beautiful, not once.
She ran.
But that night, by the river, he followed. Why do you hide? Obinna asked. Because when I don't, people suffer. Then let me suffer. I want to know your truth. Their meetings became frequent, by moonlight, near the grove under the mango tree. And for the first time, Ifeoma laughed. When she laughed, flowers bloomed where her tears had fallen. But the spirits watched. So did the jealous. Chioma and Yuzo, once childhood companions of Ifeoma, now bitter and forgotten, saw what was blossoming. They had hoped Ifeoma would vanish. They had longed for her to fall into madness or exile. Instead, she had found love. Fueled by envy, they visited the Dibia, the very one who had warned Ifeoma years ago. They offered a black goat and whispered their plea.
Take her gift.
Bind her spirit. Let her eyes never see again. The Dibia refused. She is not yours to bind. She walks with Yalama, the spirit mother. But jealousy does not yield to warning. So the girls turned to something darker, the forbidden ritual of Ekwensu. In secret, they gathered the ingredients: a strand of Ifeoma's hair, a drop of her river water, a piece of cloth Obinna gave her. Under the new moon, they crept toward the sacred cave beyond the hills, where even the Dibia dares not tread. They began the chant. Let her eyes turn blind, her heart turn stone, her love turn dust. The earth shook. A scream echoed from the cave's mouth, and back in the village Ifeoma fell. The scream that echoed from the sacred cave was not human. It was ancient. It was divine. Back in the village, Ifeoma collapsed like a palm tree struck by lightning. Her body trembled. Her eyes rolled into white. Her neck stiffened as if frozen by unseen ice. Mama Nena cried out, clutching her to her chest. Spirits of the land, spare her. The Dibia arrived without being summoned. His eyes had already seen it in the flames. They have awakened something, and now it demands balance. That night, the village air turned thick. The moon disappeared, and in the spirit world, Ifeoma awoke. She was in a realm of shadows, where trees breathed and the ground pulsed with light. Faces of ancestors hovered, watching her. A voice called out, Child of water and flame, do you still choose love? She opened her mouth, but no words came. Suddenly, visions flashed. Obinna, surrounded by snakes. Her grandmother, burning. The village in chaos. Another voice, deeper and colder, whispered, "Then choose again, or the blood of the innocent will be yours." Meanwhile, in the sacred cave, Chioma and Yuzo's ritual had spiraled beyond their control. The fire they summoned grew mouths. The shadows began to chant back. A figure emerged, tall, cloaked in bones and ash. "You who called the god of discord must pay his price." The earth cracked. A great spirit beast, half human, half smoke, rose from the floor. It roared once, and Chioma screamed, her voice fading into the wind. Yuzo tried to flee, but the shadows clung to her skin like tar. They had broken the law of the unseen, and the punishment was beyond death. In the village, Ifeoma opened her eyes. They were no longer white. They glowed gold, like the fire of Yalama, the spirit mother. She stood, though weak, and turned to the Dibia. "The balance has tipped. I must enter the forest of judgment." He nodded. "And only one may return."
Mama Nena wept harder.
But Ifeoma did not flinch. The forest of judgment was unlike any forest in Ani. It whispered your thoughts. It breathed your fears. Each step Ifeoma took echoed with the stories of those who came before and failed. But she was not afraid. The spirits parted before her, their chants rising like smoke. "Daughter of dual worlds, will you sacrifice love to save the land?" Ahead of her stood the spirit mother, Yalama, her form flickering like water on fire. Yalama spoke without sound. "Your pain is pure. Your heart is whole. But love, when pure, demands the highest offering." In her hand, Yalama held a calabash, Obina's soul flickering within. "Choose, Ifeoma. Save the boy who saw your beauty, or become the bridge for all broken souls." Tears flowed, golden like oil. She stepped forward. "Let my love live. I will bear the curse." The calabash shattered. A wind rose that shook heaven. Yalama wept, a divine tear that fell into the earth. And from that tear, Ifeoma was reborn. Back in the village, as dawn broke, the mist rolled back like a curtain. The villagers stood frozen. From the forest, barefoot and cloaked in radiant white, Ifeoma emerged. Her eyes were no longer white or gold. They burned like twin suns. Behind her, the spirit of Yalama walked in silence. Obina ran to her. He dropped to his knees. She touched his face.
He wept.
Mama Nena clapped and sang. "A child the earth feared, now walks with the sky." The Dibia fell to his knees. The villagers followed. And from that day forward, Ifeoma was not feared. She became legend. The girl with the scary eyes, who loved too deeply, sacrificed too greatly, and returned from the spirits to remind the world.